Let me explain the notes first. Why is it so thick? First of all, if you look at in your notes, right, you should see your last week's one. You know, last week we did go into chapter 10, right? That chapter that has, not much meaning. Okay, the chapter that I said is not coming out. That you can just put one side. You want to read it, you want to do whatever to it, that's up to you. Okay, I'm not going to talk about that. So the other two copies, you should see one of it looks like this. Okay, the all chapter notes. So this is the I would say, okay, we do a short, concise note for y'all. This is for if you need some short revision, if you want to read your notes real quick, you want to refer to things real quick, this is the thing you use. Okay. I wouldn't put too much attention to this. You want to read, you read it yourself. I'm not going to repeat this because even if you read the whole thing, guys, even if you read the whole thing, it doesn't really help much in your exam because you might not even know how to answer the questions. Okay, so unless your understanding of that chapter is very limited, then maybe you can use this to get started. Or else this thing you can just, read it for fun. Okay, my point is this. Chapter 2, 3, 4, and 6. The thickest note that you have, the one I want to focus on, because these 4 weeks we are going to go into that one by one. All right. So today, from now onwards, it's a revision. It's revision time. Okay. Hello, Savannah. Hello. Right. So let's go to so for those who just came in, this is our November notes. Take out the thickest copy. That one we are using that one currently. Okay, we'll be using that one for our whole month. Okay, I'm not going to go into the notes. As I said, you want to read this, you read this yourself. Okay, I really don't care. Right, so let's look at number one. Okay, page 2, question 1. All right, today we are going to talk about respiration. So let's start with K. Okay, so what is this? You should be able to remember this lah. So your K is your nostril. Okay, K is your nostril, your lubang hidung. And then inside here, this space here, we call it nasal cavity. Okay, J. Cavity means space, rongga, space. Nasal means nose. Okay, so to translate this in a more understandable way, okay, in an easier words, in layman's term, we call this nose space. It's a space in your nose. Okay, so nasal cavity. Coming down, your L, this tube is your trachea. Okay, this nose is your trachea. And then next, this branching out one, you see, branches bronchus. So that's how the name goes. Okay, branches bronchus. Can you see they kind of sound the same? Okay, branches bronchus. And then your P, okay, these small tubes here, okay, we call it bronchiole. Okay, bronchiole. Like I said before, eol means small. So bronchiole, it actually means small bronchus. Okay, it actually means small bronchus. So all these are tiny, tiny bronchus. Okay, so just a quick reminder. I think I told you this before for those who attended my class like a few months ago when I first taught this. Your trachea has these rings called the cartilage ring, these C ring, and your bronchus also has these C rings. So these rings, they are to force your tubes open. So your trachea will not collapse by itself. Okay, your trachea will always open unless I choke you lah. And your bronchus also the same. But bronchial, okay, bronchial, they can, because they have no reinforcement, they have no rings, they can close at any time. Okay, they can close at any time. So when they close for no reason, okay, maybe you're just born with weak bronchial, so you have something called asthma attack. Okay, your asthma attack is when your bronchial suddenly closes, right? So anyway, next your O are these bubbles here. We call it your alveolus. Okay, alveolus. This is where all the gaseous exchange happens. Okay, so and of course your this thing, this is your lungs. And the last one, your N, this is your diaphragm. Okay, N is your diaphragm. So your diaphragm is the one that controls your breathing. Okay, your diaphragm controls the breathing. So think of it like a syringe. Okay, this is like a syringe. So you know, have you played with syringe before? The behind of the syringe has a black color rubber, right? That black color rubber is that diaphragm. Okay, so can you see this whole thing is like a syringe? So when I push my rubber up, when I push my syringe up, I will force air out. This is exhalation. When my diaphragm goes down, I pull air in. This is inhalation. Okay, easy, huh? Easy, huh? This is what you should know. And of course, before I move on, there are a few parts missing here that they did not ask. So these bones, okay, they are your ribs. Okay, tulang rusuk. And of course, you have muscles in between. These muscles are what we call intercostal muscle. Okay, intercostal muscle. The muscle to move your ribs. Okay, so when they contract, when they pull, your chest goes up and out during inhale. And then when you exhale, they will relax, so your chest will move in and down. That's when you exhale. Okay, so can guys? Can If you have any question, please feel free to ask. Okay, so next, moving on. Let's go to the next part. So this is the pathway of your air. Right, so it starts from the nostril, then to the nasal cavity. Then there are two missing here, and then there's the trachea here. So you might say, sir, what are these two? Like I said before, these two, they are not important. But if you want to know, I can give you the answer. So that will be your pharynx and your larynx. Okay, BM we call it pharynx dan larynx. So what are these? Pharynx is your throat. Okay, and larynx, they are where your voice box is. You know your voice box, you talk using your voice box. That's your larynx, the voice box vibrating. Right, so these two, not very important. Okay, very seldomly they will ask. The important are these four. So we have your trachea, and then you have your bronchus, followed by your bronchiole. Then you have your alveolus. You can get it from up there lah, for the BM spelling. Okay, so these are the important ones. Next, moving on, let's go to number 2. So this is the same thing. This is your bronchiole. This is your diaphragm. Okay, I'm just gonna, continue, just go through. Right, so next, exhalation. Like I said, this is like a syringe. And then this is the rubber. So if the rubber push up, you force air out. That is your exhalation. Hembusan nafas. Right? Just think of this like a syringe. You push the syringe up. Okay, so the air goes out. So they even draw an arrow for your chest here. Your chest goes down because you exhale. Right, so next, mark for the correct statement. So number one, the diaphragm muscle relax and diaphragm curve upwards. Okay, so the diaphragm curve up. Yes, they do. Next, the rib cage move upwards and outwards. Do they move up and out? No, they don't. They move in and down. Okay, in and down. So this is wrong. Next, the air pressure in the thoracic cavity increase. Right, so what is thoracic cavity again? Like I said just now, cavity is space, empty space. So thoracic means chest. So this is your chest space. Just now, nasal cavity is your nose space. Now this is your chest space. So your pressure increase. The pressure inside here increase. Pressure outside here lower. So air will go out. Yes, this is true. Guys, quick reminder. This is your form 2. This is your form 2. Pressure always go from high to low. Okay, let me repeat. Pressure always goes from high to low. You always go from a crowded room to a less crowded room. Right? Like if you are in a very crowded room, I open the door, you just go out because that's how it works. Right? From crowded space to less crowded space. Okay, so pressure goes from high to low, so that's why pressure inside increase. Next, number 4, volume of thoracic cavity increase. In this volume increase, of course not, it decrease because I'm forcing air out. So this is wrong. So 2, 1 and 3 here, 2 correct. Right, next, guys, this is number 3. I hope you did this experiment in school. Okay, some of your school even made one using your own method. You know, you use a mineral water bottle and make this. Right, so what does it represent? So P, is it the trachea? Yes, it is. Q, is it the diaphragm? No, they're not. Q is the bronchus. R, is it your lungs? Yes, they are. S, is it the bronchus? No, they are not. This is your diaphragm. In fact, Q and S, they are reversed. Okay, Q and S is reversed. So next, B, circle the composition of inhaled air. Inhaled air means udara sedotan. That means the air you inhale. Guys, inhaled air equals to atmospheric air. Right? Because whatever you inhale is from the atmosphere. So what is in the atmosphere? This is your form 1. Right? So form 1, what did you learn? You have 21% of oxygen. Right? Around you, you have 21%. And then around you, you have 0.03% of carbon dioxide. So this is what you inhale in. Exhale, there are these two. Now, when you exhale 16% of oxygen and you exhale 4% of carbon dioxide. Right? So you see, we don't use all the oxygen. We only use like 5%. Okay, so from 21 to 16, we just use 5%. Right? So just as a quick revision, so we have another 78% of nitrogen. You inhale this in and you exhale this out because you don't use the nitrogen. And then the 0.97%, this is your inert gas. Right? You remember what is your inert gas? Your neon, argon, helium, things like that. Right, so inhale air, same as the atmospheric air, very common sense. Next, number 4. Okay, number 4, this is your gaseous exchange. Okay, as you can see, this is one alveolus. Okay, this is one alveolus, you have millions of it. Like I said, you have a tennis court wide alveolus in your lungs. That means if your lungs, you open all the alveolus, they are as wide as a tennis court. So you have a tennis court in your chest. Okay, you have a tennis court in your chest. So that's very amazing. So label P and Q by naming the gas involved. So what is Q? Q is the gas going out. what is going out? That's your CO2, because you throw away carbon dioxide, right? Do not write short form in exam, please. I'm just making your life easier here. So what is going into your blood? That would be your oxygen. You absorb oxygen, right? And then next, fill in the blanks to complete the statements below. The gas exchange occurs between the wall of alveolus and the blood capillaries through the what process? What is this process called? What is this process called? The going through things process. This is what we call diffusion or resapan. Okay, diffusion. So gaseous exchange. Whenever your body absorbs stuff, they do it by they do it with diffusion. Like when your small intestine they absorb food, you do the same thing. Okay, it is also by diffusion. So number two, the human lungs has millions of alveoli. Like I said, you have so many of it to increase the what for an efficient gas exchange. Right, so why do we need so many alveoli? This is to increase the surface area. Okay, your luas permukaan. That's why you need so many. That's why you need so many. Because you have enough area, surface area, for exchange. Okay, so your lungs are very good. Your lungs, they are freaking amazing because they have so much, surface area to exchange things. Okay, so number 5. Guys, if you have anything, please feel free to ask. Please do. Don't be shy. Right? Anyway, number A, match the harmful chemical substances inside the cigarette to the effects on human respiratory system. So what is inside your cigarette that's harmful? So we have carbon monoxide and nicotine here. Do you remember what is carbon monoxide? Okay, carbon monoxide is a poisonous gas. It will bind to your hemoglobin. If you remember what is that? Something in your red blood cell. It will bind to your hemoglobin and form something called carboxyhemoglobin. This thing is very stable. Okay, this thing is very stable, and this thing won't let go. Your carbon monoxide won't let go of your hemoglobin. So now your hemoglobin cannot carry oxygen because it's occupied. So this is how you get carbon monoxide poisoning. When your oxygen saturation level, hey, you know what's your oxygen saturation level? Do you know what's an oximeter? Okay, do you know what's an oximeter? You have this thing at home, I hope. When you have COVID, okay, back few months when you have COVID around, so you buy this thing. Right? So when you are not doing anything, when you're just sitting around chilling, okay, what is this by the way? This measures how much percentage of oxygen is in your red blood cell. Okay, how much percent of oxygen in your red blood cell. So if you are not doing anything, okay, you're sitting around, you're chilling, your oxygen saturation level should be around 90 something to 100 because you're not doing anything. Your red blood cell is full of oxygen. Okay, but when you start to exercise, okay, when you start to use oxygen, the oxygen level will drop. Okay, this is why you start panting. Okay, when you exercise, you start to breathe heavier, right? Because your oxygen level drops. So if you have COVID and your COVID is very serious, without doing anything, this thing will drop. Without doing anything, you just sit around and chill, and then you stand up and get a cup of water, your oxygen level will immediately drop to 80 something, and then you start panting. Okay, so this is your oxygen level. Okay, so your carbon monoxide. So by right, if you clip this thing onto your finger, if it shows 95, okay, whatever, 95, and if you start smoking, because cigarette has carbon monoxide, as you start smoking, this number should start to drop. Okay, because your carbon monoxide will bind to your hemoglobin and your oxygen saturation level will drop. Okay, so this will drop your oxygen level. Okay, so you can say that if you are smoking, you are slowly poisoning yourself with carbon monoxide. And of course, nicotine, this will cause addiction. Okay, nicotine is a lot like caffeine. They make you addicted. They make you awake. Okay, they make you awake. This is why many smokers, they will smoke after they eat. Okay, after they have a meal, because after you have a meal, you start to feel sleepy. You start to feel sluggish. So they will use cigarette to kind of boost them back up. Okay, if your parents or if your dad smokes, I'm sure you know lah. After every dinner, he will go and smoke. Okay, it's like a habit thing. Right. So next, write true or false for the following statement. Tar inside the cigarette can cause lung cancer. Yes, they do. Right. Tar is the thing you put on your road. You know the black color stuff they put on the road. That's tar. So you're putting it in your lungs. Number two, particles of carbon and dust reduce the oxygen content in the blood. You see, reduce oxygen content like just now. So who does this? It's actually carbon monoxide. Nothing to do with carbon and dust. So this is false. Okay, so carbon dioxide will drop it, not carbon, not dust. Right, moving on. Number 6. I hope you guys did this in school because some of my students' school they did this. It's actually quite a fun experiment. So what is this? This is basically a smoking simulator. Okay, this thing simulates smoking. So what you will see here, you need to look at the thermometer. So if as this cigarette burns, this thermometer reading will increase. Okay, the temperature will become higher. This shows that cigarette smoke is hot. Okay, and of course, this represents your lungs. So this thing will turn black. Okay, it means that your oxygen will turn, sorry, your lungs will turn black because of the cigarette. And of course, this bicarbonate indicator, they will turn color. I forgot what color is this. That means your cigarette smoke is acidic. Okay, it's acidic. It will corrode your lung tissue. So guys, the point is to not smoke. Okay, don't smoke. So what are observations on the thermometer? So this thing you can say temperature increase. Suhu meningkat. Whereas your damp cotton, they turn black or yellow. Okay, menjadi hitam. Okay, they turn black. Right, next, circle 2 harmful substances that can be found in cigarette. Right, you have your tar and your carbon monoxide. These two answers. Not to mention radioactive lead and polonium. Remember chapter 8? Remember chapter 8? So Veritasium did say that in your cigarette there's radioactive polonium. So you're basically putting nuclear stuff into your lungs. Right. Next, number 7, match the respiratory structure of the following animals. So you have your butterfly here. Butterfly is an insect. So insect, they will use trachea. The insect system is called the tracheal system. Same as us. We call it trachea too. The difference is, okay, the difference is from animals, the trachea, they will become tracheal and they will go directly to body cell. Right? Because insects, they are very small. They don't use blood to carry oxygen because there's no need to. Just the trachea system is enough. Okay, so their oxygen and carbon dioxide, they will do gaseous exchange straight with the body cells. They don't use blood as the middleman. Like us, oxygen needs to go to the red blood cell, and then when the red blood cell goes to body cell, only they will pass the oxygen to the body cell. So our system is more complicated because we are much bigger. Butterflies, since they are so small size, they don't need such a good system. Remember my small convenience store and Tesla factory logic? If you're a small convenience store, you don't need a transport system. But if you're a big giga factory, a giant factory, then you need your own transport system inside the factory. Okay, hope you understand. So next, your tadpole. This one uses scales. Okay, not moist skin. Moist skin is used by the adult, which is your frog. Okay, which means frogs. Frogs, they will use their wet skin. Okay, so when they are small, when they're young, they use the gills. And the gills, they will slowly disappear as they grow up. Okay, it will slowly disappear. Okay, next B, mark for the correct statement and the incorrect statement. So number one, anemia patient will face problem of insufficient oxygen. Okay, guys, I hope you remember what is anemia. Okay, what is anemia? Anemia is when you lack red blood cell, when you lack hemoglobin. There's not enough hemoglobin, there's not enough red blood cell, so you have lack of oxygen. Okay, so insufficient oxygen. Yes, that's correct. So people with anemia, they have bad stamina. Okay, they cannot exercise for very long because they don't have enough oxygen. Right? So of course, anemia has many types. You have genetic ones, and you have lack of certain nutrient. For example, iron. If you don't eat iron, you will not have enough hemoglobin. So number two, at higher altitude, higher pressure cause a lot of water and oxygen to enter our lungs. No, because at high altitude, you actually have lower oxygen. So you actually breathe harder. This is what we call altitude sickness. Okay, altitude sickness. If you climb too high in a short time, okay, you will get altitude sickness because your body cannot get used to that very low oxygen around you. Okay, so guys, if you're a couch potato, don't go and challenge. You want to climb some mountain, you might just die up there. Okay, because your lungs are not strong enough. Next, number 8. So this is your stoma. So A is your stomatal pore. Okay, stoma is the hole. And then beside B should be your gut cell. But there's no gut cell here. They are pointing to this middle filler. That should be a vacuole. Okay, this is called gut cell, by the way. It's just like your taman entrance, like I said before. If you live in a condo, if I want to come into your condo, I have to pass by the guard house. So if air wants to go into the lift, it needs to pass by the guard cell. So see, it's almost the same. Okay, B, state true or false. The condition of an open stoma shows that the leaf was picked at 12 noon. So they say this is when at 12 p.m. your stoma will look like this. Right, this question, right? I have some students saying yes, they open. I have some students saying that no, they don't. Okay, so what's your answer? Okay, why? Because both cases they are reasonable. What do I mean? You see, 12 p.m., right? 12 p.m. is noon, right? So there's a lot of sun. Okay, there's a lot of sun. So according to logic, they should open. Because when the sun, they will open for gaseous exchange. But since this is 12 noon, so it will be quite hot. So to stop water from losing from the plant, okay, to stop the plant from losing too much water, so what they will do, they will actually close this thing. But here's the thing, that only happens when the weather is too hot. When the weather is very dry, as in like desert. But here, they did not mention what time is this. Okay, whether it's like, sorry, I think they mentioned it. Sorry, they didn't mention the condition of the weather, sorry. That means that they didn't mention what temperature is around. Okay, they didn't say whether this is very humid or this has been a very hot day or it's a rainy day. They didn't mention anything. So if you want to argue, Nobody knows. You have to look at the weather. Okay, so this kind of question, you can argue with your teacher, then maybe she'll give you bonus because it's a very open-ended answer. So at this time, the gut cell actively carry out photosynthesis. Okay, that means this gut cell, they will do photosynthesis. Yes, they do. True. Well, I guess then number one must be false then, because according to you guys, punya logic, one true, one should be false lah. Right? Okay, so sorry for the yawning. I had a very big class just now, so I got tired from talking. Okay, so next, moving on. This question 9, I'm not going to discuss lah, because it looks the same. This is your trachea, this is your bronchus, this is your lungs, and this is your diaphragm. Okay, easy. So, what is the breathing process that occurs when rubber sheet is pulled downwards? Okay, so this is inhalation. Like I said, you pull the syringe. Okay, so I'm just going to skip because everything is exactly the same. Right, so G. Okay, I want to talk about G. This is a bit K-but. It's not, most likely it's not coming out, but it's good to know. So they say structure X prevents food from entering the trachea while eating. So what is X? Oh, this is a very good question. Okay, because this is mentioned in your notes, but nobody really pay attention to it. Okay, so nearby your throat, right, guys? Okay, let me show you a picture lah. I think I showed you this before. Nearby your throat, right? There is something called. Right, can you see this thing? Can you see when you swallow, the thing closes? So the front part, okay, this is your neck, by the way. The right-hand side, okay, can you see there's a yellow foot going down? That's the esophagus. And then right next to the esophagus, that would be your trachea. So you see, food, they don't go down the trachea because you'll be choked. Okay, so you see, after the food moves, the air moves. Okay, the move will move into the trachea. So trachea is at the other side. So this flap, that's your X. So your flap is called epiglottis. Okay, your epiglottis. So this thing will close when you eat, open when you breathe. So you see, when you are eating, the epiglottis is very busy. They need to let you swallow, and after you swallow, they need to open back so that you can breathe. Right, so this is why they say do not talk while you eat, because when you talk while you eat, eating you are already breathing, and when you talk you need to breathe more, so you increase your chances of getting choked. Okay, so explain how structure X function when the person is breathing. When you're breathing, what does your X do? So it will open. Okay, open what? Because you are breathing, you're not eating. So eating, they will close. So why it will allow air to move into trachea untuk membolehkan udara memasuki trachea. Okay, so that's your epiglottis. So if you have a foot stuck there, that's what we call choking lah. Guys, if you have that's why round size food like grapes, okay, not too big, not too small, but the thing nicely just fit inside our throat. So if you get choked by it, okay, if the thing gets stuck at your epiglottis, that's how you get choked lah. So that's why don't talk while you eat. You're not supposed to anyway. Okay, next. Wow, this looks exactly the same like just now. So I'm just gonna skip this thing. You can fill it yourself. Same question also. What happens to K? thing to say here. All right, nothing much to say here. Okay, let's go to question 11. Okay, this is the the gaseous exchange one. So what is number one? This is oxygen going in. This is your inhaled air. And then number two, you have carbon dioxide going out. This is your exhaled air. Number three, that's your blood capillary. And then number four, this is your alveolus. Okay, so you see this gaseous exchange happening here, right? So B, state the function of alveolus. What is this thing for? This is for your gaseous exchange. Okay, pertukaran gas. So see, how does oxygen gas move from alveolus into blood capillary? So your oxygen, they move from here to here, right? How do they do that? The process again is called diffusion, resapan. So how is oxygen transported in the blood? So which part of the blood that carries the oxygen? That would be your red blood cell, or you can say hemoglobin. Or you can say both. You can say hemoglobin in the red blood cell. Wow, then your answer is very textbook, very amazing, very show off. Okay, it's like proving to people that you know your shit. Okay. Okay, next E. What is the factor that determines the rate of exchange of oxygen between alveolus and blood capillary? Right. Guys, this is also what we call adaptation. Okay, how is our alveolus adapted to function so well? Okay, you see, alveolus, they are very good in absorbing gas, right? So how do they do it so well? Guys, there are four factors. Do you still remember them? Okay, do you still remember them? You have your large number of alveolus. Okay, jumlah banyak alveolus. If you have large surface, you have large number, then you have large surface area. Next, you have they are moist. Okay, the moisture, kelembapan. If your alveolus is very moist, they absorb things very quickly. Next, they are thin, nipis. They are one cell thick. Next, they are surrounded by a network of blood capillaries. Okay, capillary darah. So to make your oxygen absorb better, they need to have large number of alveolus, high moisture, they need to be wet, low thickness, they need to be thin, a lot of capillary, blood capillary network. Okay, so what is this for? This is to increase the rate of exchange of oxygen. Okay, untuk meningkatkan kadar pertukaran oksigen. Okay, so four factors are, guys. Four factors are. You actually apply this to frogs too. Why frogs can use skin to breathe? Okay, this one they don't have lah, but they are moist. The skin is very thin. Under the skin, there's a lot of capillary. You can use this for fish too. Fish has large number. They have this thing called lamella. They are moist. Okay, they're already in water. The thing is very thin. They also have blood capillary. Okay, so these four characteristics, you can also use it to describe your villus. You guys do remember what a villus is, right? All these tiny, tiny finger thing in your small intestine. Anyone? That was in your form 2. All right. So the difference is villus is to absorb food, okay, by diffusion. Alveolus is to absorb air by diffusion also. So you see villus, alveolus, they kind of sound the same. So they do function the same way. Okay, they need these 4 factors. Guys, like I said, few months ago when you attended my class, I did tell you that this is a must memorize point. Not really memorize, it's a very common sense thing. Okay, I hope you understand. I hope you guys understand. Why are you guys so quiet today? Why are you guys so quiet today? Are you guys tired? I don't know what's with this class. Okay, it used to be like double figure. Where's everyone? Where's everyone? My Thursday class is getting more and more quiet. That's so sad. Okay, anyway, so what is the process that produces carbon dioxide in the body? So that's your cell respiration. Okay, there's no such thing as cell digestion, okay? Not that we have learned anyway. So respiration or cellular respiration. So describe the process. Hi Rebecca, hello, how are you? How are you? Did you pet any cats today? I enjoy your story a lot because there's a lot of cat. Okay, anyway, so describe the process. Basically, they want you to describe the whole equation lah. It's the use of glucose and oxygen to produce carbon dioxide, water, and energy. Okay, basically the equation. Okay, ran out of cats, is it? They got rescued. They got rescued. My area there too. Okay, there were a lot of cats, and then they all got rescued by SPCA. So it's like a bittersweet thing. Okay, I'm glad that they found a home, but I'm sad that they're gone. Okay, anyway, you told me to translate this, right? Oh, they just disappeared. Okay. Maybe they're gone somewhere to make babies, I guess. Right. So don't need me to translate this to BM. Okay, penggunaan glukosa dan oksigen untuk menghasilkan karbon dioksida, air dan tenaga. Basically, later you should write your word equation, which is glucose plus oxygen. You get carbon dioxide, water, and energy. It goes without saying, guys, please do not write short forms. You want to write short forms, you do it next year in chemistry or in biology. Not in science, you have to, very annoyingly, you have to spell everything out. Although it's a very simple thing, you still have to write the long version of it. So the 2 products, that would be your carbon dioxide and water. Okay. Wow, this chapter is really simple, Okay. Guys, here's the thing, Here's the thing, I actually asked most of my Form 3s, will your final exam be including Form 1 and Form 2? Some say no, some say yes, some say don't know. Even some schools, they say they don't know. Because you see, now you are stuck in this very awkward year. Should they include Form 1 and Form 2? Nobody knows. All right. And then you have to notice that January, no, sorry, not January. November 19th of November, it will be the general election. So after the general election, there will be a change of personnel in the Ministry of Education. Okay, so will there be a new set of rules? I don't know. Will they, eat their words and say, oh, we are gonna ask Form 1 and Form 2 stuff? I don't know. Okay, so honestly, I don't know. Okay, I hope they don't, but I don't know, guys. For Form 2, for science, right? You always go back to Form 1 and Form 2 stuff. Even though you don't revise for that, you still need to know, right? For example, this year we learned generation of electricity, right? Okay, chapter 6, remember what is transformer? Okay, how does our national grid network works? Okay, things like that. Yeah, technically speaking, you don't need to know Form 2 stuff, but hey, the basics are still there. You need to know what's voltage, what's current, what's resistance, so there's no running away. Okay, so even though they ask back Form 1 and Form 2 stuff, it's not the end of the world. Okay, because most concepts they are related. Not for science lah anyway. Not a headache for science lah. Sejarah, however, is a complete different story. Right? Let me just tell you this lah. If they say Form 1, Form 2 stuff will be coming back, the thing that you should be worried the most, it should be your sejarah. Yikes. Okay, big yikes. This shit just hit the fan. So I don't know. Okay, I hope not. Okay, anyway, this is the same thing. Okay, let's skip ahead. Oh yeah, how do you transport oxygen? Okay, if you remember this, oxygen will bind with your hemoglobin and they will form something called oxyhemoglobin, which turns your blood bright red. If you remember this, okay, your blood will turn bright red. That means they're oxygenated, they're full of oxygen. Your blood rusted. Remember? Because hemoglobin has iron inside, that's why your blood kind of smells like iron. It smells like rust because your blood rusted. Right. Next, if you see this kind of condition, when your alveolus, okay, these are your alveolus, when they lost their elasticity, they are not so elastic anymore, they are like wilted. This is what we call emphysema. Okay, emphysema. This is caused by long-term smoking. You smoke for 50 years, you get emphysema because your lungs will lose the elasticity. It's not as efficient anymore, so you kind of lose your stamina, right? And of course, let's just quickly go through what is bronchitis. Bronchitis is the swelling of a bronchus because of allergens, maybe many factors. Okay, smoking maybe, right? So asthma, this is caused by, like I said, the narrowing of your bronchiole. Okay, most you are just born with it. So two toxic substances in the cigarette smoke, like I said, you have your tar, you have your carbon monoxide, okay, nicotine, sulfur dioxide, uh, many things. Okay, next, so this is your question 13. So A and B. So A, this one is inhale air, 21% oxygen. You see, guys, this is Form 1. Exhale air, 16% oxygen. Okay, so gas jar A contains inhale air, B has exhale air. Stopwatch shows time taken by A to went off. That means how long does it take for A to go off? Okay, because when the oxygen inside is finished, the fire will extinguish. So how long does it take? Okay, do take note of this stopwatch. You see 5, 6, 7, 8. Before you say 8 seconds, that is wrong. Why? Because this is the second hand. You have to look at the minute hand as well. You see the minute hand there, it says there 5 minutes. Okay, so this is an analog watch. So it should be 5 minutes and 8 seconds, which is here. Right? So they want you to guess what is B. You see, B has less oxygen, so the time will actually be less. They will burn slower, maybe 3 minutes. Okay, just guessing lah. Okay, so predict the time taken. That will be 3 minutes. If you want to say shorter than 5 minutes, 8 seconds, I would accept that as well. So justify. So they want you to explain why, because your exhale air, okay, exhale air contains less oxygen than inhale air. Okay, mengandungi lebih kurang oksigen. So you can say oxygen is needed for combustion. Okay, oksigen diperlukan untuk pembakaran. So when there's less oxygen, there's less combustion, so they go off faster. Right, so let me finish this, then we can go off. So inhaled air might contain suspended particles such as dust. Certain people are allergic to the dust. Right, so if you're like me, this is a really annoying problem. When your house starts to get dusty, then you start to sneeze for no reason. Okay, so this is what we call allergic lah. So Alice went for a walk in the garden full of blooming flowers. A few minutes later, she started to sneeze. Okay, what happened to Alice? Right, because you see, flowers, they will produce something called pollens. They are like the sperm of flowers. The flowers are ejaculating into the air. Okay, God, that sounds wrong. Okay, the flowers are coming. Okay, so they are coming to the air. So you have sperm swimming in the air. So unfortunately, some of us, we are very allergic to that. So what happens to Alice? Okay, because flowers, they produce pollens. Okay, menghasilkan the bunga. So you can say pollens. Okay, pollens cause allergic reaction. Okay, the bunga menyebabkan tindak balas. Some books they say allergic, some books they say alahan or BM lah, because there are two words for that. So which one you want to write is up to you. So pollen cause allergic reaction. So you can say Alice sneezes. Okay, Alice proceed. So when you sneeze, okay, how do you know you're allergic? Very easy one. You start to, sneeze, and then you start to have mucus, and it will get so bad to a point that your nose will be all congested, to a point that your eyes will start to hurt, and you will produce tears, which is really annoying. Okay, if you're allergic to dust, you know what I mean. When you go to dusty area, oh my God, okay, it's like kill me already. Your nose just wouldn't want to function. You just start sneezing for no reason. Okay, so if you're like that, if you're like me, kindly invest in air purifier. Okay, a quality air purifier. Okay, I'm sorry, you have to spend the money. A quality air purifier will at least set you back for around 700 to 800 bucks or 1,000 something, because those things can really get rid of allergen in your house. Okay, you can do that, or you can just sneeze. Okay, unfortunately, if you are born with sensitive nose, that's just what you have to do. Right? Ask me how I know lah. This thing is really annoying. Okay, anyway, so what should be done by Alice? Wear a mask lah. Okay, wear a mask. Okay, this is why in Korea and Japan, people wear masks all the time, because in Korea and Japan, it can get very dusty. Okay, because there's the yellow sandstorm coming from China, from the Gobi Desert. So Korea and Japan, they actually receive a lot of sand in their air. So that's why it's their habit to wear masks everywhere. Okay, so if you're like them, you can consider wearing masks. I mean, we are all doing it right now anyway. So, right. So guys, for those that I cannot finish, I will put the answer into Google Classroom. If you have no time to do, I'm okay. You can read the question, then read the answer straight. As long as you can absorb the question, as long as you can absorb the answer and what I'm trying to say here, hey, that's good enough. All right, there's no need for you to do, just refer to the answer. Okay, so I will put the answer soon to Google Classroom. Kindly check back. So guys, that's it for today. Thanks for coming. Okay, I will see you guys the same time next week. Happy Thursday to you. I'll see you again. Right, take care guys. See you. Good night. Take care. Bye-bye.